LinkedIn world. This is Keela, as in tequila. We've got another one, which is Cheech. We were going to have two Mexican chihuahuas called Cheech and Chong. Then I didn't think that was appropriate for the park. So this one's been keeping me sane as ever. However, I'd like to introduce you all, on point. I'd like to introduce everybody to Michelle Flynn. As I know, Bagwell Flynn these days. Michelle and I have been friends for
20 years.
Yeah, 20 odd years since the days back at CF when we worked together. Michelle these days is a life coach. Namaste. And she's doing some really cool stuff. And I just wanted to share, thank you, Angel. I just wanted to share with people on LinkedIn some of the issues that I'm having working from home, not working from home, going nuts. And I was reaching out to Michelle for some support. So because she's absolutely brilliant at this. One, she knows recruitment. Two, she knows me. And three, that she's brilliant at this stuff. And you know, in an illustrious career where you were one of the best recruiters ever, and still one of the first movers as outsourced in-house, long before we coined it as a phrase, you were brilliant. And then this massive life shift, which was how many years ago now?
Just 2 years ago, changed everything.
It has changed everything. Yeah, she's. Are you still vegan?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, nutter. So we don't agree on everything, but there's hopefully there's some stuff that if I'm really transparent about what's going on with me, then maybe we can pick up for other people, and also explain some of the work that you're doing with members and non-members, which is fantastic. So how's that sound, Mitch?
That sounds really good. I think it's really important that people are being honest about the fact that they're not feeling okay. I think that a lot of people are feeling pressure to sort of come out of this fluent in Japanese and sort of the ability to make sushi with their children. And if that is the case, brilliant. But actually, for most of us, we're trying to sort of juggle life, work, homeschooling, DIY, and suddenly life is very, very different. And I think that actually showing the vulnerability to say I'm not okay is important, because then other people realise they're not alone in struggling with this. And no matter how strong a person is, we are all struggling at different points. And there was a great saying that I don't know who came up with it, but I think it's spot on, that we are not all in the same boat here. We're all in the same storm, but all our boats are very different. So some people are working, some have been furloughed, some are homeschooling, some are isolating on their own. So we've all got very different situations, and there are lots of different things that we can all be doing, but there's some really key things that just everybody should do to make it easier.
That's a brilliant analogy. I think I'm in one of those aluminium boats with an umbrella and there's lightning going off, because at any minute now I could go up like a... So yeah, I'm struggling a little bit at the moment, and I want to be honest about that. We just spoke before we pressed record here, and I think one of the biggest issues I've got is lack of routine. Now I'm 100% confident that so I've got a great community. There's touching 300 recruitment CEOs, so I'm busy all the time. And I think there's a group within a group that are all man-to-man marking me, because they know I'm the type who's going to be bouncing off walls, right? Because I'm generally with people all of the time. But not having a routine is doing my head in. So someone used to get up at 6 o'clock every morning, do a few emails, have a shower, get ready for the day and shoot off, and wouldn't be back until 5, 6 o'clock. It was really good for me, right? And I learned how to live like that. But at the moment, it's, the other day I didn't get up till 10. Unheard of.
I mean, we were meant to have a chat.
we were having a chat. I was having none of it. And actually, that was partly with the hangover, and partly was I just didn't have the mental capacity or the energy to be the person that I needed to be. But how are you working with people on setting routine or giving them things to do?
Yeah. And like you're saying, it's actually really difficult, because the science of the body is that when we are stressed and when we are anxious, parts of our body just stop functioning. So when we're anxious, the logic part of our brain switches off. So normally you wake up in the morning and your logic is like, oh, I've got to get up today. Whereas when that is switched off, it's like, no, this bed is too comfortable. I'm not moving anywhere. Routine is so important because our body clock basically works according to the sun. And the minute we start to shift our routine and we start to go to bed later and get up later, we're not actually getting the daylight that we need for our hormones to do what they need to do. So the most important thing that I say to anyone is first thing in the morning, get up. And if you can, go outside, whether that is a balcony, a garden, using your exercise in the morning.
You just rubbing it in. Unbelievable.
Sorry.
Unbelievable.
Regent's Park for your walk. It's all right. Some parts of central London.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, even if it's just looking out the window, what happens when you look at the sunlight first thing in the morning, it interacts with your eyes and it starts a hormone production. So all throughout the night, our sleep hormone, melatonin, is doing its thing. And we need to tell our bodies, right, we don't want the sleep hormone. We now want our serotonin, which is our day hormone, our happy hormone, to kick in. So the best thing that anyone can do first thing is get up and basically not stare directly at the sun. I don't want people kind of hurting themselves, but allow sunlight to hit their face because it starts our body's process for the day and it just makes the day so much easier. And the minute you do that, what starts to happen is you're more likely to then do the next thing that you need to do and actually start to do things in the day instead of just staying in bed all day.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start writing lists again because I live with I have lists of lists and I've just stopped doing it.
Right.
And I'm literally, because my phone is ringing off the hook and everything's just happening all at once. Emma's still trying to manage a diary for me, but the phone's just ringing all the time. So you don't really have that routine. You touched on something as well because there's so much extra worry on recruitment business leaders at the moment.
Yes.
Now they're worried about their business, but they've also got the home pressure. They've got their children. They've got all the other added elements in cooking. But they're the ones that are trying to support their businesses, and they have to spot warning signs that person needs help or that person needs help. When they're on their Zoom meeting, and you can spot the people who aren't engaged, and what you're going to do about that. So there's loads of worry that I don't think people are sleeping very well.
Oh, without a doubt. And the problem with the Zoom meeting is you're just seeing from here upwards and you're not seeing that body language. And some people will be very obviously like this, but other people, they're hiding it because they're almost too afraid to say they're struggling because if they haven't been furloughed, they're worried that by saying I'm struggling means that they will be the next to sort of be put on the list. So people are so often saying, no, I'm fine. When actually there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Or with the recruitment leaders that I talk to, as you said, they're juggling so many different things and have got so much responsibility on them, as well as then being kind of the shoulder to cry on for people. How do you provide all of that support? And more importantly, who's then supporting those people and who's kind of on the phone to them, which is where you're probably getting all the phone calls of just someone to be able to rant to or to say, I'm struggling today. And anxiety comes to all of us in different waves. And some people it lasts for a few minutes and some people it lasts for extended periods of time. But we've never been in this situation before. People have never been in sort of 24/7 lockdown. So they can't cope with it. They're starting to feel claustrophobic. They're feeling bored. They're feeling kind of annoyed with the people that they're living with. And it's how you actually deal with those things without putting all this pressure on yourself to be perfect, because that's just not possible.
Nah.
Well,
I'm so not perfect at the moment. Apparently, I'm not a joy to live with. But no, it's good
Really?
To know. And it's quite a long list. Okay, so the sleep thing's good. I've also fallen into some really bad habits of falling asleep at 7 o'clock.
right.
So because I'm not seeing everybody, I'm not having the joy of working with people. We flipped it to having really regular phone calls. So I'm speaking to a lot of people every day, and I'm mentally absolutely done in by about 7 o'clock. So I'll sleep from 7 till 9, then try to go to bed and sleep, and I can't. And it's just, and then Julianne's just, I'm also eating shit because I'm missing meals because it's really bad habits, and it's really easy to form, and they're forming very quickly.
Yeah.
So Yeah. Have you got any advice about how to change? If you want, maybe advice for other people, I may be a challenge too far. But in terms of going through a process, how? No, they were talking. Was it six weeks to create a habit?
Oh, no. So I've been talking all about habits on my LinkedIn this week. And I must admit, I always thought it was 45 to 66 days. And the research that I've been doing has blown that out of the water. It is nothing to do with repetition. Emotions create habits. So, for example, if you give your daughter Lula a new mobile phone, it doesn't take her 66 days to get used to basically carrying it everywhere. It happens immediately. If you get a new car, should you get a new car, Gary? That doesn't take you 66 days to pick up the habit of driving the new car. It's instant. So, and the same with bad habits. They can be an instant thing that sort of people drinking more at home at the moment, that hasn't taken them 66 days to build that habit. Suddenly, sun comes out and it's rosé time. So when it comes to habits, the key things are, it's about putting success with it. Because if you feel successful about something, you're more likely to do it. And we do that with children. We praise them and we say, oh, well done, you've walked your first step, or well done, you've eaten a vegetable. And we praise them, and then they want to do it more and more because they get praise. Same with your dogs. When you're training your dogs, you say well done, and then they don't pee on the carpet, hopefully. And we are just the same as that. We need to feel success, but we need to start with really tiny habits. Because if you say, I'm going to go vegan, it's not going to happen. Whereas when we've spoken before, it's like, don't go vegan, start small, introduce eating one new vegetable that you've never tried before, because the smaller the habit, you're much more likely to actually stick to it. Then you feel like you've achieved and you'll set yourself up for success, and then the habit builds. So, and the way that it's kind of explained is that where to start with the habits is, imagine Christmas tree lights that are all tangled up. And don't try and start with the habit right in the middle of the Christmas tree lights. Like, don't try and start with kind of giving up drinking. That might be a hard habit. Start with a little light that's on the end that you can easily start the unravel. And that's the easy habit. So that might be sort of flossing your teeth, or it might be, I don't know, kind of, for me, putting a bit of makeup on when I've got a Zoom call. Start with the easy things, and then eventually you build success momentum, and then you start to want to hit the harder habits, because you get this ripple effect of feeling good, you're eating better, you're moving. It might be that you're just doing 5 minutes twice a week, but you're doing something which leads you to want to do more.
Yeah. And I'm doing yoga with Lula, right? Which to be fair, like, you know me, what?
I've seen you doing it. I was on one of those sessions. She's brilliant. You need some work.
She's unbelievable, but it's really, we've connected over it, and she's doing it on behalf to all the pirates, and there might only be five, and there might only be 5 of us on it. There's one today at 4:00, and it's something to look forward to. And we actually have a proper chat. If nobody joins it, she's doing one for her boarding school. She's doing one for her old school mates. And it's just things like that. I'm really proud of her doing it, and I'm going to support her because I think it's a cool thing. Yeah. But it's actually, it's quite a cool thing to do. My downward dog is ugly as shit, but we're giving it a go, right?
By the end of this, you'll be doing headstands and all sorts.
Yeah, no, we had a bet the other day. Her mum, obviously her mum's really good friends with Julianne, and she was a former British gymnast. So we're doing this, and there's Luann doing a handstand walking across. Yeah, the women in my life. So that's quite good. I wonder if there's anything that you could give us in terms of maybe just a couple of tips, because it's, I don't want to sit here and be preachy with people about you have to do this, right? The routine's important. Maybe having some lists, doing little things. What would you say the top 3 things that maybe some of the guys that I care about could incorporate, and it'd be good for maybe them doing it with their businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, there are so many different things that we could talk about. I was talking to one of the RDLC yesterday, and we had a chat for an hour. And I think the guy came off the phone sort of just like, there's so many different things, because I only had that one time period with him that I wanted to give him lots to think about and then cherry pick what was going to work for him. But it's starting simple. So the number one thing, when you wake up in the morning and you turn to get out of bed and you put your feet on the floor, say to yourself, it's going to be a good day today. And even if you don't believe it because things are tough for people, then you just say it's going to be a good day somehow. Because positive thoughts create positive feelings, create positive actions. And if you wake up in the morning and you tell yourself you're going to have a shit day, the chances are you're going to have a shit day. Whereas if you can say it's somehow going to be a good day, and that might just be the fact that you've actually woken up alive that morning. If that's the best thing that happens in everyone's day, then we're winning. So first thing, we can all do it. Just wake up with a positive thought. Second thing, try and get some daylight. The ideal thing, certainly I know if I don't go for my exercise first thing in the morning, I feel really anxious. And I spoke to another one of the RDLC and he was having a bit of a bad day and he didn't know why. And he figured out it was he hadn't gone for his morning walk. So if possible, and I know this isn't always possible when people have got children and working different work hours and stuff, but try and do something first thing in the morning, or at least get that sunlight into your eyes. And the third thing, this is a thing that underlines everything, is take some time to breathe. And this does not have to be an hour-long session with incense and omming. This can be a really simple 3, 4, 5, which is breathe in for 3, hold it for 4, breathe out for 5. And repeat that a couple of times. Or if you've got children, you can do this. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And by slowing your breathing down, you are basically switching the logic part of your brain back on. You're regulating your stress hormones, and it's like building your resilience so that whatever those arrows are being fired at you throughout the day, you can cope with them. So they would be my top 3.
I've got one. Can I share one as well?
Absolutely.
Every day, everybody has to search for a bit of good news. Now, because I'm reading stuff, all right, because we've got the benefit of Serene a lot. So Dean gets up before he goes to bed, researches what's going on in the world, and sends us about 15 different articles about COVID, right? There is nobody in the world who knows more about COVID than me, because I read them all, because otherwise he'll call me out. But you need to find some good stuff, because I didn't like it. Somebody with an analytics background threw out some data that said how bad recruitment's doing. It's not. Some businesses aren't working at all. So just looking at volume levels means nothing, because some businesses are absolutely smashing it. So you just keep having to search out positive news, and because it's important. And also you need to be fully understand what is happening with COVID and what's the right experts are saying, because you need to reassure your people ongoing that they're going to be okay.
Without doubt.
And you talk about breathing. Are you and Matt still doing your making people levitate breathing?
Yes, we are. And I had a message the other day from one of the RDLC. I'm not going to name him, but he said, I'm a bloke from up north. I would never normally do this stuff. And I had a bit of free time and I did it. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. So Matt is now a qualified Oxygen Advantage breath instructor. He is working with sports professionals, a member of the GB team. He's working with CEOs who are struggling to sleep. He's working with people reduce anxiety. He's working with people with medical problems. Because basically, again, it's not woo-woo. It is science. It's about oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. And he does breathing sessions every Wednesday and Sunday night for free on Instagram Live at Love to Learn To. And we get about 50 people breathing with us. People levitate off the floor. People sleep well. They feel relaxed. Sometimes they have a good old cry. But the feedback afterwards, and what's really amazing is it's like this community of people all feel like they're breathing together. They all start chatting to each other on the Instagram Live chat. And it's like you're creating these friends, even though we've never met them. They've never met each other. And when this is over, we are going to have the best breathwork session. And he does fantastic music. We're going to have flashing lights. We're going to have great house music. So, yeah, he's basically my simple 3, 4, 5. Matt just knocks it out of the ballpark by actually really taking people there. You've got to join us.
But mate, I had a breathing session with you. That was hilarious, wasn't it? It's like, I'm floating.
Yes. And that was only 15 minutes. Imagine what we'd have after 40 minutes.
Oh my God, no, I don't think I can't breathe that long. And what the other thing, just so that people know all the other stuff that you're doing, and we'll pop a link there because people need to work with you because you're brilliant.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm doing a mixture of things. I'm working directly with recruitment businesses, doing talks for them around finding calm, stress management, building resilience. I'm also doing talks for those businesses' clients. So for recruiters who are saying, what do I talk to my clients about because they're not hiring? Let's talk to them about how you can help them. Let's get them on a webinar where they can get the same hints and tips that I'm sharing with the team. So that's been going really well. And also I'm doing lots of one-to-ones, both with the teams that are still working, but also with the teams that have been furloughed, because I think we have to also consider that for some people, furlough is amazing. For other people, they have got no sense of purpose in the day and they're really finding it very difficult. So I think it's important for businesses to be sort of looking at all of their staff and the mental health of all their staff, because the virus itself is obviously just horrific, but we've got to look at people's mental health. It's Mental Health Week coming up in 2 weeks. So I'm hoping lots of businesses who maybe haven't done some stuff are going to actually think that they really need to. And if you haven't got any budget, because that's completely understandable, follow me on LinkedIn. I do daily hints and tips. Follow me on Instagram, whatever your social network of choice is. But there's loads of free stuff out there. And if you need anything, just give me a shout, because I do regular 20-minute free check-in calls for people who just want someone to talk to.
Michelle, what's your name on LinkedIn? Is it Bagwell or Flynn?
Flynn, still Flynn. I said to Matt that I wouldn't take Bagwell until I moved out of recruitment. He's not brought that up again, because now that I still do recruitment, but now that I'm mainly health coaching, I'm still having to say I need to keep Flynn because people need to know who I am. So far I'm avoiding Bagwell.
No shit. That would be brilliant. And whilst we're thinking about all the people being furloughed, think about the burglars and the scooter boys who's going around nicking things. They've got nothing to do. Bless them.
Can I say, I had to break up a fight the other day. I was in Brighton town centre and there was a poor homeless guy and 3 guys in bright orange engineering outfits having a fight. Everyone stood around watching, videoing it. I just suddenly, the red mist came. I had to go and get involved. If someone posts that video viral, I'll apologise for my language because it was not clean.
Can I say, a fight on the streets of Brighton? Right, thank you, you little beauty. Well, I really appreciate you doing it. And for everybody else on LinkedIn, Michelle is absolutely amazing. Thank you for doing that. Really appreciate it.